Hi there, welcome to my tutorial on how to make a fabric journal similar to this one, as you can see. Okay, this one has pockets and it's decorated and it has more pockets and lace and all sorts of bits and pieces. This time I'm going to be making one with a more of a spring feel to it, and I have lots of bits and pieces of kind of spring fabrics here, and I've gathered together some bits of lace and some ribbon and some bits and pieces that I'm going to be using. First of all, I have cut a piece of cotton sheeting, and I've got one piece which is 14 by 8. I work in inches, by the way, so that's 14 by 8 inches. So that piece is going to be my front cover. And that's going to put that one there. Then I'm going to need 6, because I'm going to have 6 signatures in this one, 6 12-inch by 8-inch pieces. And that's what I've cut here. So they're ready. I've cut ready is a piece of fabric which is 4 inches by about 60. This is going to make a snippet roll, which I use to decorate the journal front cover, and I use the other bits for decorating some of the pages. So this is what I've written down. Here we are. So I've got one piece of 14 by 8 inches. That's the front cover. Then I'm going to have 6 signatures, and they are 12 by 8 inches. I'm going to have this, I didn't mention this one, but one piece of 14 by 8 of fabric for the inside cover. And then I'm going to have 1 by 4 inch by 60 inches for the snippet roll, which I'm now going to show you how I make. Right, I'm now going to start laying out my little bits of scrap fabric to make a snippet roll. And I'm just laying them along, layering them down. So, kind of like this little mousy fabric. And I'm going to pin as I go. Like this. Go. I kind of like that there. Wow. I'm going to put a bit of lace there, I think. Like so. Think what shall I put? Quite like that, I think. More. And it doesn't matter if it goes over the edges. That's fine, it can be neatened up later. Let me see, what else can I put in here? A bit more of that green. I do find working with these colours a bit of a struggle because they are out of my comfort zone a little bit. I do like usually working with blues or roses or something like that. So this is a bit of a challenge. But anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to go away now. I'm going to stitch these down to that roll, and I'll continue all the way along to the end of the roll. I've finished stitching down my snippet roll, and here we are. This is what we've ended up with. So as you can see, I've gone backwards and forwards, anchoring it down, and it's all ready now to go. So first of all, I've taken one of the 14 by 8 piece of fabric, and I'm now going to decorate it. This is going to be my front and back cover. So if you can imagine, that's the front and there's the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut 2 14-inch pieces to fit, and I quite like that, and that's going to go there. So I'll just snip that, and then I'm going to hopefully maybe bring that down a little bit, because I'm not quite happy with that. Bring that down there like so. And kind of fit these in and out of here so that they make a nice join together. Quite like that. You can kind of manipulate the fabric a bit, and as you can see there, that I like that. I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. There we go. So that, I'm going to snip that off in a minute, will be my front cover. I like that. I'm going to go away now, and I'm going to stitch that all together and pin it. I'm going to pin it along, and then I'm going to stitch around the outside, up through the middle, and I'm going to go over it and go over it again to make sure it's all nice and firm. And that will be my front cover. We're all stitched down. I did change it around a little bit. It didn't quite fit together properly, but so I've still used the 2 pieces of snippet roll and joined them together. And then what I've done, as you can see, I've put some tulle over the top and stitched that down, and I've started to decorate it with some lace, and I had some words that I've printed onto fabric. I've got them pinned ready to go, and then I'm going to, I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put around here yet. I kind of like these these little flowers, and maybe this kind of thing, but I'm going to leave that for a minute, and I'm going to put that to one side, and I'll come back when I've thought about it. I will just show you, this is going to be my front of the inside cover. Now I quite like this because it's kind of got its inbuilt guidelines, which will come in very useful for when we come to stitch the signatures in. So that will be going there. The signatures will be stitched in there, and that's the inside front, which we won't be attaching yet because it all needs a little bit of work to it. So I'm going to put those to one side, and I'm going to start thinking about my pages. This is the first page that I'm going to decorate. If you can imagine, this is the front and that's the other side of the page. So I'm going to do the first side now, and I've been playing with some fabrics and having a look to see what kind of goes, and I've kind of had a little play and layering them up. Doesn't matter if they overlap, it's fine, it really is. There we go. And there's that bit, and I will trim these up in a moment, make sure this is the middle where it's going to fold over, and then I'm going to pin them and I'll go and sew them down. I finished stitching down the pieces of fabric and I've overlaid it with some organza. I don't know if you can see the organza there, and I've stitched that down in place. And I've also now pinned some decorative lace around the outside. That's ready to stitch, and I've decided I want a pocket to go on here. So I've got a piece of my snippet roll, so I've cut a piece of snippet roll, and that is going to go there, and I'm going to decorate that with the same lace as what I have around the edge of the page. So I'm going to pin that in a moment. There we go. Did have another piece there. There we go. I shall pin that like so, and I'm now going to go and stitch all that lot down. Okay, so that's now, the lace has been stitched around the edge. That's all down. The pocket is now sewn and all neatened up and trimmed. And I had a couple of little motifs that I printed onto fabric, which I kind of like, reminiscent of springtime, and remembering not to spray your dandelions because they're food for bees. Anyway, that's that page done. So the next page, I'm going to again reach for my snippet roll, which I made earlier, and I've cut a piece there, and I'm going to put that one there, and I leave just a little gap there. And then I like this little mouse, so I have decided that he's going to go there. Lift up that lace there, and that's going to go like that. I will trim this off, trim this down, so that's there, like so, and I will trim that, so there we go. Now, and what I shall do now, I'm going to go away and I'm going to pin this and tack it down, and then I'll stitch it down and go over it a few times, and then I will embellish it with some lace around the edges. Okay, so that's that bit done. And while I was there, I've covered it down, layered it with some of this tulle, which has got some sparkly bits in. I kind of like that, and it does seem to have worked quite well. I've embellished it with some daisy trim, and I've added a big daisy. So now I am going to fold it, match it up. There we go, and there we have one page. That is the front and the other side of the page. I am going to have a pocket this side. I'm going to go in here. So what I do, because I'm not going to line mine, I put a piece of lace on the wrong side of where the pocket's going to be. So it's going to go there like that. I just think it creates a nice tidy edge. I know it's a bit bright green, but I kind of like it. Kind of zazzes it all up. So that is going to be that's the inside of the page, if you like. I'll just pin these up. Like so. There we are, like that. So what will happen is those will fit together like that. I will sew them on, and I'll sew that on in a minute, and then I'm going to sew and stitch down these sides, making sure I've lined them all up, and that will be a completed page with a pocket. Lovely, there we are. Right, so now I have completed one page. So what I did, I stitched on the lace on the inside, and then I've stitched along these edges, and I've created a pocket, and that's where the journal's going to sit. And down here, this is where, as you can see, this is where it's going to get stitched into the book. This is going to be the spine. Now if I can show you, so we're getting a few bits and pieces together now. So this was the cover, and this is the inside of the cover, will be, and this is going to go in here like this. This is going to be stitched, okay, and we're going to have 6 of these, so I'm going to have to go off and make some more, but I have cheated a bit because I have made 2 others. So I've done this one, and that one's got a pocket there as well, so that one's going to go there like that. And then I've done this one. This one's not quite finished, but it's just an idea to show you how to embellish different ones. So there's going to be 3, and then I need 3 more to finish them. Now you may wonder why I haven't put any lace down there, and what I've found is that when it comes to stitching them in, it gets a bit tricky. So if you can see on this one, what I've done, I've put in, and I've actually glued that in after I've stitched them, and the same here, just to neaten off the edges. I found it very difficult to stitch them. So that's an example. That's the middle page. So down the middle page, I've done that. And if you look here, you can have your pocket at the top, like that one, or let me see. There's a pocket, and in the pockets that we're going to have these. So I haven't made those yet for the springtime one. I have now finished my 6 pages, 6 signatures. So here we go. There's the first one, and the pocket at the top, and that's the next one. There we go. And there's this one. I've got a pocket there, and a little pocket there. And that is going to be the middle of my book, my journal. And as we go, you can see this is another one. So all on the same theme, with pockets, and pockets on the side. Okay, so that's my 6 waiting to go into the journal to be sewn in. I've also, if you remember, this fabric was going to be the inner cover, and so what I've done, I have decorated it. I've put some pockets, so this is going to be the front inside cover, and that's that pocket, and that's the back inside cover, so that's waiting there. I've finished all the machine stitching. This is the outside front and back cover. So what I'm going to go away and do now is I'm just going to stitch these 2 pieces together. Right, now that's the front, all the covers stitched together. We've got the front, inside back, and the back cover, all stitched together. Now I've marked, as you can see, that is the centre line, and I have stitched down the centre line to hold it all into place. Now I'm going to get my pages and put them as I want them. So that's my first page. So that's going to go there, that's the next one, that's the middle, that's the back, that's next to back, and there's the middle. Right, this can be a little bit tricky. So now I'm going to, starting from the centre pages, so I'm going to put those to one side, and putting that one there and lining it up. I'm going to take these away as well a moment. There we go. I'll move them to one side. So these are my 2 centre pages, and I'm going to line them up nice and neat, and I am going to stitch them down here and down here. I've left a little gap so that when they go together they don't bunch up too much. So that it is quite a lot of fabric to stitch together. What I suggest is that you tack it, hand stitch, just tack it first so that it doesn't move. I'm going to pin it because I've done this a few times before, and I'll go away and I will stitch it. I'm just making sure that everything is all lined up, that it's the pages that I want for the middle, they're all the right way around, pockets at the top, pocket at the side. There's the centre pages now in place. They're all nice and stitched in there. And this will all be neatened up at the end, and I'm going to stick, when I've finished, I will glue a piece of lace or something down the middle like I did in my other one. So it'll go like that. So that'll be all nice and neat and tidy. I'm now just going to go and sew in the other ones. So the next one's going to go in there like that and line it up. Okay, so and then I will go from there and do this one, lining them up as I go. Possibly a good idea to pin and then tack them so that they don't move too much. Right, so now I have stitched all my pages in, all my signatures in, and I've gone away and I have glued in the gaps here some lace to give it a nice finished edge. There we go, there's the daisy one, and as you can see I've glued them in, and I use a fabric glue, and in here that's the middle pages where I've shown you where I've stitched. So all of them are now stitched. There we go, there's another one. Look, I've just put that piece of narrow lace in and stuck and glued that in with some fabric glue. So there we go, and while that was drying, what I've done a little bit of embellishing. I've sewn a few bits and pieces in. As you can see, it's coming together quite nicely now. So all we need to do now is sort out this back spine and a closure. So there we go, there's the back. So this is where it's all been stitched in. As you can see, there's the stitching. And what I've decided to do is to use this is the only piece of yellow ribbon I have left. So I'm going to use this as a tie, and I'm going to do it from here. What I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to glue it and stitch it here, and that will be the tie. And then to finish it off, I've cut a piece of lace, and I'm just going to put that down. I'm going to hand stitch that onto there in a moment, and when I've done that, I will just neaten up any loose ends. I have to neaten here, I have to sew that in, and then we're nearly there. So there we go, it's looking quite good. So all nice pockets. I've just finished attaching the lace and the ribbon. As you can see, I've stitched that and I've covered up that spine, and I've put the ribbon in underneath and kept it nice and neat. So that's all now attached. And while I was there, I looked at the front and I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to carry on the daisy border all the way round? So what I've done, I've just stuck it for now. I may stitch it at a later date, but I've stuck a nice little daisy border along there, and I've done the same on the back. I thought it kind of finished it off nice and neat. So now we've got our spine, and with the glue that we put in when we do the lace, it's made it quite nice and firm. So there we go, that's basically it, and I've neatened it up like I said I would. I've done the stitching, I've trimmed all the loose threads, So there we go. Now while I was doing that, I also I printed off some little cards, and I've been making some little booklets or journals, mini journals to go in the pockets. Let me see if I can find one. There we go. I haven't done them all yet. I've just started to do them, but this is what I do. I make up some little mini journals that can be filled in at a later date or carried with you, whatever, and they're kept inside these pockets. And here's another one, look. So I've made this one. That's just the start. I haven't bound them yet because I want to put some more in them, but I needed to get them in so you could get the idea of what was happening. So that was that. And I've made up some little tags, some little cards, just to show you how to how this is used. So that's all the edges all nicely stuck down. There we go. I've made some little cards. Unfortunately my punch has gone missing, so I need to neaten that up at some stage. And well, that's about it really. There's a little flip through. There we go. There's the dandelion. Dandelion's got the start of a little mini journal going on there. Where else? There we go. I've got another one in here somewhere. So inside this pocket, what have we got in here? Oh yeah, we've got another one. I'm just beginning to start to do them. And like I said, they'll be worked on at a later date. So there we go. One springtime. Doesn't that remind you of an Easter bonnet? There we go. One springtime themed fabric journal with lots of little mini journals ready for the off. And there we are. Well, there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial. I hope it's inspired you to have a go. Don't be afraid to have a go. It's not as difficult or as complicated as it seems. If you've got any problems, just message me and I will help you if I can. So there we are. Thank you very much. Bye for now.